All right, test one for the video. We are going to try to do this live. I just got off the phone with the sister, but you know what? We're gonna edit that shit out right now, real quick. I'm just trying to figure out where to put my camera, where it's kind of stable enough, where you can kind of still see me. Hold on, give me a second. Okay, so I'm gonna put this a little lower. There you go. Cool. You should be able to see that way. All right, let's try that. I'm gonna sip some Gatorade real fast, just to kind of get like my brain all sorted. I'm gonna grab my notebooks right now. I have those that I'm doing or researching on. Just the black book. This is the one I've actually been doing most of my research on. I have my iPhone. That's all fucked up. It's like wide open. I've been trying to fix this thing, but I got the screen. I got all that, but they like. My Geek Squad that I go to, see this panel right here? There's like a little panel that they broke, or not broke, I've messed up. got aggressive trying to pull it off, and there's like two other screws that they did like an electric screwdriver, so it's like super tight. So that's that on that guy, which is fun. But like I was saying, I have my two notebooks and my Rolling Stone that is brought to you by Senor Bama, which is the shit. But I want to put that on. Oh, it's on the back burner. That's on the back burner. So I got. This is my math notebook. It has most of like the Pima stuff. This is what you're gonna need if you want to go to Pima. Some doodles, a truck. But this is mostly for math. So if I do like small equations or like need to try to work something out that's not working, or budgeting, I usually throw it in here. Some doodles, so if I get annoyed and I don't really know what I'm doing, I'll just throw something on a page. You know, so those are in there. It's actually, this is kind of what my little warehouse workshop thing I'm doing. It's one tier, very small, not very big, but just enough for me to kind of get my mental space. Very nice, very nice. I love it. But I also have this guy. This is my little black book. This is a little bit more private. I have another one that's my app development that I'll actually be way more willing just to literally give that to you and let you go through it if you actually want to do that. But this one right here, this is really personal. This is all mine. These are my private notes. It's almost a journal. It's like my deepest, darkest thoughts. So, what I was saying. Recently, I was watching the Joe Rogan podcast, and it was 1007, and you know, I got this weird ad on the video from this other company, you know, and I forget how to say the name for the company, but they're talking about flying machines, and it was weird because the scientists that were working on it were being paid or were being like used by Senor Adolf or Senor Mr. Hitler, you know, Mr. Adolf Hitler. So, which is strange. It's very strange. That this guy was able to make this type of flying machine that apparently runs off of some type of wave. You know, it's a wave. It's not really, you know, like you could theoretically put a battery in it and like do it, but there is, okay, my brain instantly went to, you ever seen those spinning things like on Stranger Things, on like from carnivals, like those fucking things that spin around, and you're like pushed against the wall and you're like stuck and you're just like, oh no, I'm stuck to the wall, like a fly in like a trap. So I was like, okay, like they're kind of showing the diagram of what it looked like of this flying machine, and it was weird. It was very weird looking. It looked like a carnival like ride. And then so I'm like, okay, I'm thinking, right? And I'm like, okay. But, okay, so this is running in the back of my mind, right? And then I had the podcast that I'm listening to that these ads popped up on. So I'm like, okay, what does this have to do with anything that they're talking about? And then so they're talking about, on this Joe Rogan video of this podcast where it's Ari Shaffir, Joe Rogan, for sure, Bert Kreischer, who is a super fucking funny comedian, like this guy's hilarious, and Tom Segura. Personally, I'm not a real big fan of Tom Segura, but, you know, his comedy is like real hit or miss for me. It's like sometimes it's funny, sometimes it's not funny. But he is a very knowledgeable person in ways I can't explain, in ways that are kind of difficult to explain. But they're talking about, and I hate using the word but. If I say the word but too many times in this, I apologize. Also, on the topic of what they're talking about, they're just finishing hot yoga, or like some type of like they're some type of physical like thing that they're doing, you know, like it's very physical, and they're doing it, and they're talking about this treadmill that it's a never-ending treadmill that you, honestly, it's designed almost like a tank. They're describing it, they show it, and I literally just was like, okay, Leonardo da Vinci and his flying machine. He had that was like almost like a treadmill, but it had like this corkscrew type contraption that would spin. So you would run on top of the thing until it would start spinning, and it would either make like a breeze that would cool you off, or it would but it didn't work. You know, it didn't work. You would just run, it would spin, the turbine would spin, and it would cool the person off who was underneath it. He also had another one that was almost like the Wright brothers' first airplane, but his was weird. It had wings, it started to flap, it had strings, you pull it. You know, he was trying to find momentum. But anyway, I digress. Because the reason I think of this treadmill and think about the first tank is because I'm thinking, okay, what if these turbines that push this treadmill, super similar to like the old tanks that the Germans and the US would use in like post World War post World War II, I think it was. And like if you watch Indiana Jones and the part where he's like in the machine or in the tank and the dad's just like, hey son, like check this shit or whatever, like that's part of it, like, you know what I mean, like that's kind of where my head went. I was like, okay, if you're thinking of this treadmill that looks like a tank, and my brain is already in like the new EA like VR sports like shit, or I don't even know if that's a thing. If it is, trademark, I'm gonna make it a thing. Don't steal it, I'll kill you. Just kidding. But they're talking about this treadmill that is like man-made. You can go stupid fast. It's powered by you. You can only go as fast as you want to. And then so I'm like, okay, thinking of that shit. Like I'm thinking of all this stuff like that this treadmill is reminding me of, you know? And I'm just like tripping out about it. And it's super, super, super cool. But, what am I saying? I lost my train of thought. That was that fast. Boom. But like I'm smoking out and I'm thinking, okay, the reason people got on like the Nazis and all that shit, because it's like a whole mess, you know, and there's a lot of research and there's a lot of shit they already have that you can read about it, you just have to look it up. But it gets very complicated very, very fast. And I don't even have a lot of those sources myself to kind of say, oh, how did you get these findings, you know? And it's like, that's why I kind of do like to keep a journal on some of the stuff now, is just so I can go back and cite my work, because I don't like not knowing, I don't like looking like I don't know what I'm talking about, because then I just sound silly. But anyway, back to the treadmill. So I'm thinking of this treadmill that basically looks like something that Leonardo da Vinci made. And if you have the physical capability to push this treadmill and push it forward, it will move you forward. And I don't know this for a fact, but I think with his first tank, Da Vinci, he made it for the Romans. He was either the Greek or the Romans. I can't remember. But he gave it to them broken. They wouldn't work. They were like missing a bolt. They were missing something. And they're just like, what the fuck? How did you give us these fake war machines? And he's like, no. I'm an artist. I'm a scientist. I'm a creator. I don't destroy. So he's like, I'll give you the ability to take this and do what you need to. He's like, but if you think I'm gonna give you something that's just gonna go and destroy people, you're fucking crazy. And so they're just like, I don't remember what happened. I think they imprisoned him, or like he got time or something, because they're just like, we hired you for a job and you didn't deliver. And he's like, I did. You're just not smart enough to finish it. And you know, it's like a thing about guilt and grief, and it's like if you have somebody who's gonna create, who's a creator, who's a painter, who is, his livelihood is his hands, right? It's like, this is all this man has. He's a creator. And all of a sudden, fucking, the Romans are just like, yo, we're gonna use your shit to kill people. And he's like, you know what, that's not my thing. You know, I'm part of your society, I'm part of your people. I'll try to help out. I'll do whatever needs to be done, but I'm not gonna do that. So he took his pay, he took his shit, and I think he took off. I think he took off to the Indian Ocean or something. Or some shit, I don't even know. But he was just like the first one to make a tank, and it was a dud. So they were just like, oh, he doesn't know what he's doing. And it literally it throws a wrench in our history. You know, it throws a wrench in it and be like, oh, but we have tanks. We already have tanks. And it's like, yeah, but he was the first one to make that one. And he had the ability to say, no, I'm not going to make it. Like, I'm not going to make it. You can't make me make war. And it's like, holy shit, like, that is like, it's like the balls on this guy. Like, the fucking balls on this guy to be like, you know, like, just to be like, I'm not going to become a victim. I'm not going to become a prisoner. I'm going to do what you ask of me. But if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. Which is brilliant. You know what I mean? It's just like, it doesn't work if it doesn't work. Because if it's like, if you're going to be going that deep to be like, oh, we have to destroy somebody because they're doing something we don't like, because you don't have the ability to be a diplomat, you don't have the proper ability to be a diplomat, to go down, talk to these people, see what they need and to help out, that's all on you. Like, that's your fault. And he's like, I'm not gonna build something for you to just destroy people that are not doing what you want them to do.